Friends, how are you doing? Let's dig into it. What happened today in the market? And so yeah, here we go. So today, obviously, we've got Nvidia came out with their quarterlies yesterday. Good quarterly is great, nothing new. You know, I think we all expected it. There's no reason for them to start slowing down at this point. Why would they? So that was a little bit of a boost for the market opening up here in the morning. But then it's like I swear this is like we live in a comedy world here. It's a full circle where we're at right now. So the tariff situation, what we're dealing with now, it's not that tariffs are coming, it's that tariffs now have been stopped by a judge. So we had tariffs come up, shattered the market to pieces, then tariffs came back up like, hey, actually they're going to work out, not so bad here, people are going to pay up, we're working out deals. Now a judge has ruled that we're not doing any of them. It's not happening. So the market today went meh. So we saw a complete sell-off throughout the market today, and I don't know. Obviously, this is not and I've been saying this. I think all of us have been saying this. This tariff situation is not a done deal. It's going to continue to keep coming up here. Obviously, Trump administration, they're going to fight on this, and obviously, this is a situation where Trump can want and say this is that's going to happen, but stuff has to pass the Senate, the House, all that, and that was kind of the argument right now with what's going on with this judge. So with that, this is going to be a unfolding moment by moment situation. I would expect well into the weekend and into next week. Obviously, we've got tomorrow, Friday in the market, but we'll see what happens. News might even break tomorrow. Who knows? So with that, we saw a sell-off in the market today, okay? Now, this morning, pre-market, stocks were doing pretty good. Things were running pretty well here, and then this stuff really broke, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And now we were left with tragedy of the market today. So, what we're looking at here, Palantir is playing around this 120 zone, low 120 zone, which is still very high compared to where it's been. I mean, this is still crazy numbers right now with Palantir. But it leaves the question, maybe this is a decent place to buy in. Maybe this is where we should buy in. If you haven't bought into Palantir, you're like, I want to make another position in Palantir, or I sold out my position in Palantir. Is this the bottom? Is this low as I'm going to get right now with Palantir? Yeah, it's hard to say. This is new territory for Palantir, 100%. So I could easily see, if the market were to continue into a little bit of, a downslide, into tomorrow, I think Palantir could easily get to 115, 118. I don't think those numbers are crazy whatsoever, because Palantir is still very high. I mean, no matter which way you cut it, you're overpaying for Palantir. I don't say that to be rude or mean towards the stock. If you know me, I'm drinking the juice on Palantir. But what I will say is, you're buying the share price right now for the expectation of what's coming the rest of the year. You're buying the share price right now to be a part of the party, what's going on here. You're buying the share right now to, be a part of, well, Palantir could just move back to $30 here within, the next, 5 trading days that come up here. So, and you can swing trade it. So that's kind of where Palantir is at too. Okay, and then you look at SoFi, and SoFi is holding this $13 zone, which is very, I think it's positive compared to where the stock's been, obviously. But, this has just kind of been the same old routine with with SoFi, is that, it's just been a slow moving stock. But in that, it is a stock to where you're able to buy the low, sell the high, buy the low, sell the high. And I think now, obviously, we're playing around this, $13 position to mid $14 position on a really good day. But, when we get another good day in the market here, I don't know. We'll see here. So I'm still optimistic that the market is wanting to run here and that it's wanting to do good. The S&P 500 is so close getting back in the 6,000 point range. I mean, we're almost there. So with just a little bit of hint of good news, good peppering over the stock market right now. And like I said, it will find its way back up in there. The Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ will keep rolling here. Now, saying that too is that I do suspect that Trump will say something very soon here. They're probably, because he's not going to back down off these tariffs. He's just not. I can't, and this is not me promoting Trump, so if you're like, I can't stand Trump, Listen, I'm just talking about the guy and his personality. I can't imagine a world where he is going to say, okay, I'm not going to do the tariffs. He has built his whole thing, his whole foundation right now with these tariffs. So I can't imagine that he's just going to go, okay. I don't think that's going to happen. So I think somehow, some way, something will happen here where he pushes the tariffs somehow. But the question is, if that happens, is the market going to go, okay, well, good, that's what we wanted. Well, it's not what the market wanted 2 months ago, but now it's what the market wants again, because we actually worked out some deals here and things were looking good. And so it's a weird situation. And if you're not in the market every day, it's kind of hard to explain to people. But it's a situation that's unfolding right now. So why I say all that, it's going to make the market move in weird directions right now, 100%. Now, talking about Big Bear, obviously, I've been talking about Big Bear, and I will continue to talk about Big Bear because I think it's so interesting what's going on right now. So, my whole slap here with Big Bear, this is kind of where I'm at the moment. I think a lot of us right now, if we can just get Big Bear into a $5 to $6, $7 range, $7, oh my gosh, we're drinking champagne here with $7. So if we can get Big Bear back into that zone, which I fully do believe we can, in this lawsuit situation, we'll be wrapping up here, I think by next week, if not the week after that. So it should be a done deal. We shouldn't hear much more about it. And people, I think investors have been onto this. They're pretty much done and over the situation of what this was. I don't know that we're going to get another $10-$11 run here with Big Bear, but I do think we could honestly get a $5 to $7 run here very soon with Big Bear. And here's why I say this. So, obviously, looking at a candlestick chart here to kind of, show you patterns a little bit thicker here, where it's easier to see what's going on here. So, going back, from December until February, that block of time right there, that 3-month block. Okay. Big Bear was getting deals, getting hot, getting talked about. The stock went from $2.10 to, right under $4. Then we were real close to $5. And then and I'm talking about that purple zone right there that we're looking at. Got 1 block, 2 block, 3 block. By the 3rd block, we are in, $4, almost $5 range there, okay? Then comes a big sell-off. And then we hit a boost in the market. Big Bear gets a lot more attention. We go from 5 to 7 to 8. Boom, 9, 10 to some change, okay? That was February. That's when we had that play, okay? Now, if you go over here to the green, and now we're April, whole market sold off, wham bam, devastation across the board. Okay, towards the end of April, going into the beginning of March here, we start to have push up with Big Bear. Now, if you notice, this time frame is shorter and it's extended more with the growth of the price range here. So what you're looking at right now, you got this 1, 2, 3 element build, the staircase building right now. It's littler, but it is showing that we are seeing support every time we get these sell-offs. So we're getting pushed. We're well into the high $3 range right now. So that's very positive. I think that's very positive. And then, we're getting this push back in, beginning of March. Then we sell down to $2, high $2 range. Then we go back up into a $3.50 range. We sell back down to just a minimum of $3.05. Then we get pushed again here, and now we're at where we are right now. We're back in this $3.90 zone to $4.40 zone, okay? And there's obviously a huge wall here at $4.50, $4.60. It's hard to break that right now, okay? So we're trying to get to $5. Now, with this situation, we could have, I think it could come any week. And obviously, a lot of this is relying on the market too, because back in February, when we had this big push into this $10 range here with, Big Bear, it was literally the stars aligned, okay? The stars aligned. We had Big Bear that was already doing well, getting a lot of attention. It was getting hyper, super duper volume. I remember just the day before it ran into that high position, it was $5, $6, $7, and people thought, well, it's not going to go anymore. But volume is still crazy. And I even remember telling people, like, hey, I'm actually not selling out because I think it's going to go higher. And And by the luck of God, it did. It went to, if you were there, you remember, it went to over $10. And then, I mean, like, we made crazy money on that run. So after that, of course, stock sold off. Then we get in, of course, tariff stuff, DeepSeek, tariff, all that. Market starts falling apart. Okay. Like I said, so we're full circle. We're back into where we're at right now. So I do think that Big Bear is being pushed. It's being run up a little bit right now. Now, I don't know that Big Bear is going to run back into a $10 position. I think more than likely $5 to $7 is on the table. Okay. Now, obviously, this depends on the market itself. Why I talked about that in February is because when we had that big push, the market was hot. It was running great. It was full. Just the market was at all cylinders. Okay. We don't have that at the moment. Okay. We just don't have that. Now, if we can get that, and maybe this little situation, maybe this bad news that has occurred today will turn into some good news here later in the week. Maybe tomorrow. Highly doubt it. But maybe next week we can see something happen here. This is a situation of you're watching these new levels be built into Big Bear. Big Bear wants to run. The support's there. I think it's a very strong case right now that Big Bear is looking for new highs. Okay. What I don't see is I don't see people getting bored of Big Bear. I don't see people getting bored of it whatsoever. And obviously, to sound like a broken record, if Big Bear can lock in a deal here any day, partnership, something, just the smallest, minute thing at this point, Big Bear would obviously seal the deal of, finding more confidence in with investors 100%. So, Big Bear is in a position where, it is. That could happen any day. And right now, you're starting to see more positive articles come out now with Big Bear, which is interesting because it is changing. You're seeing a lot more positive articles. And the articles are somewhat like, Big Bear has potential, could run here, software. But, and there's always a big but, obviously, in that they start talking about the debt. They start talking about they need more money. They start talking about, the fighting, all of the competition out there, which there is. But that thing right there with the competition, that would scare me if Big Bear did not already have these government contracts. That would scare me. The fact is that Big Bear it's already achieved not one, not two, not three, not four, but a handful, probably at least 5 at this point, government contracts within a very short time span here. So obviously, there's a big spending bill coming here with defense, all that kind of stuff. So we may see a lot of our companies that already have contracts with defense contracts that they already have, they may increase, they may prolong, they may, everything may get better with them. So, friends, listen, this is what I see. I know everyone sees things different in the stock market, and this is why don't invest alone. Listen to people. I listen to people. Everyone should be listening to someone. If you just go on your own assumptions and stuff, you may miss something. So, being an investor 100% is being a detective and looking for clues, and that's what we're doing. We're looking for clues. So I'm highly suspicious that Big Bear will find another deal. I'm highly suspicious that Big Bear is in a run right now. It's in a build, a slow build, but a very healthy build. I think this build that we're watching right now is more of an organic build into something. Now, this is a long trade, obviously. If you've been here since, $2, low $3 range, and you're like, I want 5, maybe I can get 6. There's potential you'll get it, but obviously, if you're in this for the short time trying to make a trade off this, a swing trade for profit, don't get greedy, take profit. One thing right now, and this may upset some people, but I will say this, and this is coming from someone who has yapped their mouth a lot about Big Bear online, and I love Big Bear, okay? I'm very optimistic that Big Bear can do better here into the future. But I will say this, do not worry about Big Bear getting away from you right now. So, don't, because I see comments out there, and I see people talking, don't think that, Big Bear's going to $20. It's not going to 20. It's not going to 30. And there's just no, unless Big Bear tomorrow were to announce that they just got a $5 billion, $10 billion contract within 1 year's time, that would be completely different. But right now, we have no evidence to say that Big Bear is going even to hold those kind of numbers. Now, can a $10 run happen again? Sure, but what I'm saying is, even if we had another $10 run, it would not sustain that for long, of the evidence that is there right now. But $7, $8 at the most, I think that's very possible. Obviously, those are decent prices. Okay, those are decent. Those are like right on the cuff of like, all right, I don't want to pay any more for this because I need to see more evidence of them paying off debt. I need to see more deals. I need to see something actually taking place here. So, this right now is the buy-in. The sell-off, we're hoping that's coming here very soon with 5, 6, possibly 7 if we can get that. So, yeah, there's definitely a build happen. There's a build happen. There is a staircase. A building is occurring right now. So I'm going to shut up. I know you want me to shut up. Friends, take care of yourself. I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.